What's poppin', y'all? I'm here to talk about the really cool buffs and changes I've got for Swanna, a Pokemon that a lot of people don't really think or care very much about. So before I get into explaining my thought process behind the, new ability choices, the stat tweaks, and most importantly, all of the cool new move synergies with these stat tweaks and ability changes, I want to have a quick disclaimer for new viewers. This game, if you're new here, is very different than your average ROM hack, so read the description down below. It's got a bullet point list that'll explain a lot of the basics about the game to you. If you're a returning viewer, I appreciate you, coming back, clicking on the videos. Drop a comment down below. Let me know who you are. Make sure y'all sub, comment if you haven't already. But if you're new here, I recommend on top of reading the description, I recommend if you have yet to do so to read the Google Sheet link down below. Don't click off yet because it'll mess up my watch time. But when you're done with the video, you can check it out. I have a bunch of links down below. I also have videos for every other Pokemon. But yeah, the move guide, very, very important. Make sure you check that out. So, Swanna. I opted to give them 3 cool abilities, so Swift Swim is a pretty obvious choice. Keep in mind, there are other water flying types I have to balance things around, like differentiate them from, give them 3 different ability slots. There's Cramorant, who technically has 5 abilities. Watch that video to find more out about that. Pelipper, and then Gyarados, right? So it's a good amount of water flying types, but I opted to choose Stamina for that final slot because Serene Grace and Swift Swim are very fitting and obviously very strong. Serene Grace is heavily reworked. The main thing with Serene Grace is just that Revelation Dance, because if you read the Pokedex, Swanna has this dancing theme going. That's also why I gave them Aqua Step. I think it's kind of cute. I mean, it would be even cooler if it was like a breeding move from fucking Quaxley, but nobody's bothering with like breeding in this ROM hack. That's not the point of this game, right? So it's just a level up move, but flavor-wise, yeah, it would be cool as like an egg move. So Aqua Step is really cool because, again, the Pokedex, like it talks about, literally the first one says, Swanats start to dance at dusk. The one dancing in the middle is the leader of the flock. So, yes, they do dance. So giving them that whole, and swans in general are kind of like graceful, pretty animals, right? So Serene Grace with that Revelation Dance and also with Aqua Step. Well, Aqua Step isn't a Serene Grace move, but it does synergize with Revelation Dance because what you can do with Aqua, or even with Sky Attack. So here, I'll cover it in a bit, but actually, I'll just talk about it now. Fuck it, because Stamina and Swift Swim are very obvious in terms of how they function, and then Stamina, flavor-wise, there's a Pokedex entry right there. It says they can flap their wings strongly and fly for thousands of miles. So that's the flavor for Stamina, and I wanted to give it an ability slot that is a bit more defensive or utility-oriented. And I was going to give them Elegance. If you're a returning viewer, you know what that is. It's priority immunity, but I really don't like giving out priority immunity too much because it kind of invalidates it on the AI and it makes it like way too easy to cheese. So I try to give that out like pretty sparingly, only when I have like no other fucking choice or like no other ideas to give, or if it really really makes sense. But yeah, I try to limit it or pick other abilities most of the time. So, and I'm already not a fan of Stamina, for the record. I don't like. I'll talk about it later, but I'm really not a fan of it. Like in terms of gameplay, I don't like how risky it is, but it is obviously very strong. Anyway, Serene Grace is super dope. So Revelation Dance will give you a guaranteed boost with Serene Grace. So what you can do is just slap on a Choice Scarf, click Serene Grace, Water type Revelation Dance. You get +1 special attack. You kind of snowball from there. That's one good way to use it. You can also do Tailwind Serene Grace with Revelation Dance, or what I would say is really the coolest way is Aqua Step. Get yourself a boost, kill something, because you do have a good attack stat of 98. The reason I made them, well, they're already a mixed attacker in vanilla, and I like them being a mixed attacker because swans, if you don't know, will fuck you up. I mean, I guess it's geese. It's swans in general will fuck you up, man, like physically. Like they're strong. Like they will really, even the Pokedex alludes to it. It administers sharp, powerful pecks with its bill. It whips its long neck to deliver forceful, repeated strikes. So that's also why I gave them Power Whip and Whiplash and just like a good physical attack stat in general. So I did keep the mixed attacking vibe going there. And so what you can do is you can either just run a purely physical Aqua Step with like, Swords Dance or Sky Attack. So Sky Attack will give you a guaranteed attack boost. So what you can do is, here's how I would say like is the best way to use Aqua Step, is to finish off a Pokemon that's already slower than you, or Quick Claw versus like a frailer Pokemon that will die to it. And then you get +1, and then the next Pokemon that comes in, you'll outspeed them. That's a really good way to abuse it. And obviously, if you do it the first way, you have your item slot freed, so you can run, loaded dice, or you can run any of these like great, physical damage boosting items, or life orb, or defensive item. Or the coolest way, I would say, here's what I would really like to do is click Aqua Step versus a Pokemon that's already weakened or slower, that's in range to get killed by it. Kill them with Aqua Step, get +1 speed. And the reason that that's good is because you don't have to take damage or get hit by the AI. That's always why these moves that give you a boost and deal damage at the same time are so strong. At least in an in-game context, they're very, very good. Even in competitive, they're good, but in-game, they're very, very strong tools. Because they don't leave you vulnerable, unlike clicking Swords Dance or fucking Tailwind or would, or Trailblaze even, not Trailblaze, Agility, but they don't get Agility. I actually did it on purpose. I mean, I didn't really like the idea of it. I think Tailwind is already cool enough. But yeah, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm trying to talk about Sky Attack here. Sky Attack will give you accuracy and attack boost. And with Serene Grace, it's also a guaranteed flinch. So a really cool thing you can try is like versus a slower Pokemon, click Sky Attack. Even if you don't kill, even though, I mean, it's a strong ass move regardless. It's like fucking 180 power, whatever. But it's even stronger, actually. I changed it a bunch recently because I had to nerf these. Yeah, it's 180 now because Meteor Beam and Electro Shot are critting. And the difference... So basically, I tried to make Sky Attack like a physical Meteor Beam, but the thing is, I can't change it so that it boosts after. Like, for example, Meteor Beam, Electro Shot, you get the boost first. With Sky Attack, you get it after, so that's why it's the higher base power. It's to make it equal power to Meteor Beam and Sky Attack, Meteor Beam and Electro Shot. But anyway, point being, Sky Attack flinches, so you can use it to like chip something and then finish them off with an Aqua Step. And now you're +1 speed, +1 attack, +1 accuracy, and you can go for like Dive Bomb, for example, which is flying type. High Jump Kick, which won't miss anymore with that accuracy boost, which is super, super good. You've got Dual Wing Beat to break through Focus Sash. You've got other boring Serene Grace stuff like Air Slash, which if you're doing a Nuzlocke is very unreliable. Obviously, it's a very strong, like in a competitive setting, 60% flinch, especially on something that's this fast and has a good special attack, is very good. But I would personally never use that. Even Dual Wing Beat has a high flinch rate as well with Serene Grace. Stuff like that, you could go for it. I guess if you also like paralyze them beforehand and you want to like para flinch, but at that point you're losing the plot, right? There's so many better things you could be doing in those amounts of turns, because it's not like they get a move to paralyze even, and even if they did, it wouldn't be that good. But fucking paralyzing and then switching out and then flinching it to death, I don't know, pretty cheesy and also still risky. So I wouldn't do it personally, but you could if you wanted. The main thing with Serene Grace though is just that Revelation Dance and that Sky Attack. Everything else is extra, whatever. Like technically Terra Blast, Weather Ball, Terrain Pulse all have a guaranteed drop chance to drop special defense with Serene Grace, but like that's very minor for the player at least. Coverage wise, they have Mud Bomber, Mud Shower, Mud Shot, ground moves. They've got Seed Bomb and some bug moves like U-Turn and First Impression and Lunge. They've got, I would say their physical coverage is much better than their special coverage, just based on the type of design that they are. Special coverage, they still have good coverage, right? They have Water Flying plus Focus Blast late game, but that only requires a wide lens. You have Ice coverage, Mud Bomber, Mud Shower, ground moves there. And then you've got like, your Terrain Pulse, your Weather Ball. Alluring Voice, 80 power there, not bad. Can definitely, do some damage if it's super effective and stuff. But the physical side, they have much better coverage, like Takedown, Play Rough, Health Thrust, higher base power coverage moves, so and Lunge and stuff. So that's all cool, and Power Whip even, but that's more of a niche thing. Also, Grass Knot is not physical. If you're wondering why I didn't mention that here. If you're curious to why that is, go watch the fucking movie video I want to talk about here. But yeah. What else? I don't know. That's pretty much it. I mean, again, Aqua Step is a great offensive tool. Swift Swim is obviously... I don't need to talk about why that's good, right? It's obviously just strong. The cool thing with Swift Swim, I would say, is that you can run max attack and special attack, and you can go for like Hydro Cannon and then click Hydro Assault after, both of which are Draco Meteor variants. So you can click the one that drops your special attack and then switch to the one that drops your physical attack right after. I think that's super fucking dope. And you can even go for stuff like Aeroblast or Torrential Pulse, which will always crit and therefore ignore your attack or special attack drop. So you can really get a lot out of your rain turns outside of the obvious, Hurricane stuff, which is obviously good. But yeah, I would say like those last three water moves are very strong in the rain. As for Revelation Dance itself, I wouldn't use it in the rain because it's objectively worse than Surf without Serene Grace, because you're not, objectively worse in a Nuzlocke context, which is what the game bounced around, because you're not supposed to be trying to get a boost, as you can read right there. You're not supposed to get a boost without running Serene Grace. You could, like mathematically, yeah, you could, but it's not safe to go for it. It's only a 50-50. So yeah. What else is there? Stamina. It's just boring. Roost, Encore, blah, 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 blah. You guys get the fucking idea. You could technically also do some, like, Baton Pass stamina shit if you really wanted to be that guy. / girl / other, but I don't know, dog. Not very fun, in my opinion, but you can. It's there for a reason, right? It's there because I understand that people like this type of playstyle, so it's there. I would only ever run it if I had no other options, really. because it's definitely useful, right? Like you can switch in on a physical move that you resist, and then you can sit there and click Roost and get a bunch of defense boosts. You can stall a lot of things with stamina. You can become very, very, very tanky, and you even have Calm Mind, so or Amnesia. So you could do either one of those with stamina too, with Roost, and become like super bulky. But the thing is with boosting your bulk is that you're just a crit magnet, and I'm not a fan of that in a Nuzlocke context. So I would personally not do that again unless I had no other option. So yeah, I think I've covered pretty much all the important key notes here. It's got solid utility with the stamina, with the roost, with the encore, with the haze, and all this other solid stuff. It's got pivot moves, flip turn, U-turn. It's got tons of offensive capability with string grace and swift swim. It's got that aqua step, sky attack, cool combo there. Tons of other strong physical and special moves for the late game. And overall, will just be a very fun, solid, straightforward buffs here. So thanks for listening. If you made it to the end, shout out to you, and I'll be back for more coming up. Peace. Drop a comment if you made it to the end, by the way. Let me know. I like to know who makes it to the end of the videos and who actually listens all the way through. So make sure you drop a comment. Peace.